as we so, and we'll do it on the count of like
Three. Yeah, you put the scissors right in the
All
ribbon.
right, now go ahead.
Okay, and everybody keep looking this way.
All right.
Ready? 1,
3, 2,
okay.
1, cut.
You did it
Thank you all very much. Well, welcome everybody. My name's Berlucchi. I'm the President and Chief Executive Officer of Auburn Community Hospital. And today we're all here for our Women's Imaging Suite ribbon cutting ceremony. This is a dream come true. We've always had these modalities, but we've never had them so accessible as we've built everything here. You'll hear from other guest speakers about the state-of-the-art mammo, ultrasound, and DEXA. This is an important milestone, one more milestone for Auburn Community Hospital. It's part of the overall plan as we put the cancer center together, and we have state-of-the-art radiology to go right along with that. From the board of directors, this is our commitment to furthering women's health services, and it's part of a much larger campaign of bringing comprehensive women's health close to home. So what are some of the common themes? What is this really all about? It's local access to world-class medicine. And Dr. Syrett may say a word or two about all the new docs that we're recruiting, that just very, very talented young men and women. It's early detection saves lives, right? So what gastro is to colonoscopies, mammography, and these others are absolutely critical to diagnosing, early if there's any event. There's a lot of different equipment out there, and we'll talk about it later. The mammo machines are state-of-the-art. One of them has the capacity to do stereotactic breast biopsies, which, as Dr. Riccio, I see in the back, as our former CMO, we haven't done stereotactic breast biopsies in quite some time since Dr. Gear was here. And so this new machinery has the capacity to do it 5 days a week. And I want to thank Josh Alexander for making sure we made all of that happen. These are the modern tools and the brightest minds. These are my colleagues standing around me. These are the men and women that make it happen on a daily basis. I wanted to make sure they were here because this is a team, right? So from the board to the medical staff to administration to the leadership of radiology and this department, we work as a team. I was explaining to somebody outside what really the dream is all about. It's basically trying to get same-day answers when it comes to breast cancer. But the concept basically is you come in for screening, mammography, and they see something. So then you go to diagnostic, like instantaneously, and then they do see something. And then immediately you go to a stereotactic breast biopsy, which somebody better than me can explain what that is. And then from pathology over to the lab, we can take that sample real time, bring it to the lab where the pathologist can basically determine what it is and what it isn't. And then if it all works according to plan, the patient would walk out understanding exactly what it is, what it isn't. A nurse navigator would sit and say, here's your treatment options. You come in, you get diagnostic, you get screening, and you got to come back. I'm just thinking the anxiety that I would be going through if a loved one, and the delays. So that's, the goal is to get it all done at the same time so you can sit with your family and determine what are your best treatment options. And something related on the cancer side, we have hematology oncology, right, and we have radiation. If it's on the surgical side, we have that as well. And so that's what we talked about, developing world-class medicine right here. So we're trying to bring all healthcare, back home to Cayuga County, and we're treating the whole person. So with that, we have a great leadership team, phenomenal docs, but I would like to introduce Tony Franceschelli, who is our board chair, because without, a compassionate board who puts the patient first and access to care, we would never be able to do this. So With that, Tony Franceschelli, would you join us to say a few words on behalf of the board? Thank you.
I would just like to thank on behalf of our board of trustees, which several of them are here, Dr. Riccio, Elaine Daly, David Gould, Dr. Sherburne, Joe Runkle, thank you all for the continued support. Scott and your leadership team, and Scott said it, I think, earlier, it is a team, and every day we're out here fighting for Auburn and Cuyahoga County and the patients. That's what it's all about. I mean, I was born and bred here in Auburn and have family here, and we want this hospital to be the best that it can be, and it is, and gets better and better every day. So thank you all, you doctors, nurses, staff, technicians. You know, without you, this hospital would be nothing. So thank you from the Board of Trustees. We appreciate it, and it doesn't go unnoticed by us. So thank you, and, you know, another great day.
Somebody on the administrative team was smart enough to know to designate a couple of parking spots right out front for this service. So you're not having to park a mile away and come in. And so you come in, you park, you come right on in. How more convenient can this be? You register right there. You don't have to go to separate parking, and you come right on in, boom, 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 back out and leave. So with that, it's my pleasure to introduce our Chairman of the Radiology Department, Dr. Jubin.
On behalf of the Department of Radiology, I would like to thank all the administration and the Board of Trustees for making this dream a reality. As you know, mammography is the gold standard for diagnosing breast cancer, detecting breast cancer. Just to refresh memory, the American College of Radiology as well as the Cancer Society recommends routine yearly screenings for women over the age of 40 or earlier if you had a family history of breast cancer in immediate family that happened over, before the age of 40. We also recommend additional screening for patients with dense breasts, and if you had a really high score for risk score for breast cancer, then we also recommend an alternating MRI scan and sometimes genetic testing. All of these can be done right here in Auburn. We are proud to meet all the standard FDA guidelines that requires a place to be to conduct mammography. We also have an ACR accreditation. That means we have to go through a little more rigorous steps in quality and control the way we do business here. As you already know, we have two brand new suites here for mammography. These are state-of-the-art machines, as everyone mentioned. So what we do is we do 3D tomographic views first, and then we use the same raw data and make 2D views out of it. So that means you don't have to get radiated twice. So it minimizes the amount of radiation. We use CAD, which is been ever forever, computerized detection system that kind of points to areas of abnormalities. And with the new GE software, we have an AI assistant to do that as well, so it's a little more accurate. We are awaiting installation of the stereotactic biopsy unit. Stereotactic biopsy is when we do biopsies using a mammography machine. If we cannot see something on ultrasound, and if it's only visualized on mammogram, such as small calcifications, then now we'll have the option to do that as well. Once we do that, like Scott mentioned, the pathologists take a look at it, so they'll know whether this is something that needs to come out or not. And if it does, we have dedicated, excellent surgeons that can do those surgeries here. So we work with the primary care physicians, the surgeons, the oncologist. We're all in this together. It's a collaborative effort. And we also have a team of experienced and dedicated staff and technologists that do a great job in getting the best pictures as possible. And they also make sure the patient experience is a quality one and a stress-free one, and that's very important. Our turnaround times for reporting these cases, like Scott said, if we wait a month to get these results out, then we're not doing a good enough job. So it's been consistently the same day or within the next business day. There may be a delay if we have to get pictures from outside facilities that patients had before, because that helps us in comparing things. As you know, early detection is the key when it comes to all malignancies, and breast cancer is no exception. So I please encourage all the women to get screened as recommended, and also encourage your friends and family to do the same. Thank you.
I just want to draw attention to how personal this space is for everyone. When things happen at Auburn, it's driven by an administrative and clinical team that lives in the community, and it's just really pushing to try and keep the care locally and try and make accessibility as fast and efficient as possible, and everyone's working really hard to it. I don't know if there's any other hospital in the country that if you ask the chief operating officer what type of light they put in the ceiling, he would know not only the serial number but the unit cost. But it's like every little detail is looked at, and it's all focused in getting people diagnosed, and getting people the treatment that they require right here in Auburn. The other thing is these ribbon cuttings are becoming more and more frequently happening, and we struggle to keep up with the news, but we continue to push all levels of the provision of care. We successfully recruited a vascular surgeon that will be starting later this year, which is a new addition to our staff. We have 2 new orthopedic surgeons that are coming on board, and then one's on board and one's coming on board next month, that including one that specializes in bone cancer, which is exciting. We just recruited another double-boarded emergency medicine physician as well. So we continue to recruit, pushing standards and pushing quality and pushing culture, but it all rests on the driving of all the clinical teams, all of the administrative teams. I just heard an analogy about what Auburn actually is. I'm not sure shared it with the boss yet, so he's
Oh no, here we go.
but it's hard enough to build a plane on the ground, but at Auburn, we're actually building it midair, because this thing's flying at the same time we're building it. So we're doing something that's impossible, that you don't see in many other communities. And we continue to grow. It's driven by a medical staff and an administrative staff that are completely committed. And I'm proud to be able to represent both the clinical and the administrative staff in doing that. So thanks, Scott.
Yeah.
Congratulations to Jubin and his crew. It's a lot of work here. It's a fantastic opportunity for our community just to show people should be moving here into this area to get the health care that they need quickly. So congratulations to your guys as well.
So I am one of the surgeons who operates for breast-related issues, including breast cancer as well as other pathologies, and obviously this is a really important part of it all. No one said it yet, I'm surprised, but breast cancer affects 1 in 8 women in their lifetime, which is a stunning amount of women. It also affects men, so we can't forget that. And again, I'll say it again, early detection saves lives, so please get your mammograms. Having this technology and the expertise of our radiology group in the area has a huge impact with it. And imaging in breast-related diseases and breast cancer really is key. I'll be honest, clinical examinations are not that sensitive, and so many early breast cancers are not felt, but they're seen. And so you truly need that part of the equation to do it. Imaging from digital mammography to the tomosynthesis that Dr. Jacob mentioned, to ultrasounds determining if a cyst is worrisome or not, to again, MRIs for more complicated situations or high-risk patients. It's all vital. As I tell my patients, our problem with breast cancer is that it's challenging. If my son hurts his arm, we go in, we get an X-ray. The vast majority of times we get an answer as to whether or not there's a fracture. breast cancer is much more subtle. So you need all these different modalities and the ability to look at those, combine them, and piece together what's worrisome and what's not. So it's much more complicated. One of the biggest things to all this is just anxiety. The quicker we can get through, determining that there might be a problem, to figuring out what needs to be done, etc., is so important because people wait so long for these things, and it is. I see women all the time, and the anxiety is awful. So the quicker we can go through and do that, the better. I will say this, the stereotactic breast biopsies is a huge addition. In the area, there had been only one provider, and they are no longer going to be doing that. When we had it a few years ago, it was about 1 day a month. So a woman had to wait a month in order to get the stereotactic breast biopsy done. And that is the key. Now we're able to do it 5 days a week with Dr. Jacob. And really that allows us to know, is this something we have to worry about or not? So that is a tremendously important thing. I was thrilled, as were the other surgeons, when we heard that we have that, because that is absolutely important to us in getting this done. One of the last things I'll say as a surgeon who does perform, these breast surgeries, whether it's breast conserving surgery, lymph node biopsies, mastectomies, etc., interaction with the radiologist is key. You have to ensure that the biopsies right from the beginning were taken from the right area. If they're having a breast conserving surgery, you need to know that that wire that the radiologist put in there for you is in the right location, or exactly where you have to go. Is it just above, just below, on the side, etc.? You have to know that the lymph nodes that you're targeting are the correct lymph nodes. So all of those things are so important. What truly matters is getting the right diagnosis, and all of those factors with this imaging, with our radiology group, ensures that we get better margins, trying to get them always free of cancer. It affects staging. It affects our friends at the cancer center with how they'll approach things if you stage things appropriately, leading to better outcomes. So again, thank you to all who brought this technology here. We are very, very happy to have it. So thank you.
Hi, good afternoon. Auburn Community Hospital has done it again by keeping their pulse on what our community needs by building this beautiful women's health center. I'm so proud to be an employee here. I'm an interventional radiology technologist, former mammographer, and a patient here. I will say that it is so nice to have basically one-stop shopping. Have your mammo, quick results. God forbid you need any further care, but these girls are more than able to help you navigate your women's health journey, men's health journey, whatever it may be. And I'm excited to have that here. I've worked at many different other hospitals, and I will say this is probably the nicest women's center with everything all in one. The cancer center there, stereotactics here. I worked at a hospital where we did it twice a month. They brought the unit in, and it is stressful for the women. So that's just huge, and I'm happy to be a part of it. And say that these are my coworkers, and that we have such a beautiful women's health center here. Ladies, get your screenings.